Hello to all of our council members here at Normal Villa. Today marks an important day for the future of our town. It is my understanding that the very central key to success in this town is at stake. At its core, a society cannot function without leisure and all of its moving pieces. For an individual, one cannot progress and contribute to society without the opportunity to branch away from education, city rules, and careers, even just in their free time. It is my hope to give a compelling argument today for the security of the leisure activities in this town and encourage a change in policy for everyone who will be affected by this drastic mistake. So I've received a list of several questions from the board to address. I want to guarantee that I can respond in a way that is sensible to all and that will hopefully eliminate the need for additional questions. So the first question comes from council member number 1, and his question is, what is this leisure concept that I'm working so hard to defend? And that's a great question because it's so broad and difficult to define the topic of leisure. So I would love to share my own definition of leisure after studying it for nearly 2 months. According to my research and also my opinion, leisure is a series of activities or possessions that one produces as a means to escape the busyness of life or to combine our daily activities into spaces of leisure or personal enjoyment. So what does this mean? Well, let's go back a ways and understand a couple things about leisure in connection to the definition that I just shared. So what does it take to count as a leisure experience? And this typically involves 3 criteria. It is an opportunity to do something during one's free time. And we are so busy that we may not have much free time, but when we do, it is important that we give people the opportunity to enjoy themselves rather than taking that opportunity away from them. Next, it involves a recreational activity typically. Imagine the boringness of your childhood without recreational activities of all sorts, and learning about the enjoyment of activities and finding passions to take with you into your next phases and to your teenage life and into adulthood. Finally, the culmination of these things provides a heightened state of mind, typically. It's a joyous feeling when one can be lifted out of the mundane and monotonous schedules of their lives. Although not all people would agree that their lives are like that, but that's my opinion in this case. And the removal of leisure in this town would have a drastically negative effect on our youth, and they are the future of this town's education, police force, and council. Do we really want to risk them losing their creativity and joy before going on to lead this town in the next 10 to 20 years? And so the next question comes from council member number 2, and her question was, so what happens when these criteria are met? Well, there are a few theories that we can use to support this argument. Firstly, let's talk about the spillover theory. What do we know in this town? We know hard work and we know a focus on bettering our society. That's why we're here today. But what happens when we cannot interject leisure into that formula? Well, spillover is then not possible. Spillover occurs when one enjoys and manages their work, but also learns how to manage leisure. The result is leisure becoming a part of their job. It is a way to enjoy work whilst also heightening the state of mind, and in reality, this makes work production higher. The other important theory is that of flow, and flow is a leisure experience when one engages in an activity intensely and becomes correlated with the success that it brings to become a master at that task. Think about how that could be utilized in this town. If leisure is encouraged, we would find a mastery of material around this place, an upgraded quality of life, and a true passion for tasks at hand being worked on by the working class in this society. The final question comes from council member 3, and his question was, how can we incorporate this leisure topic to recognize inclusion and diversity? So leisure can do wonders for the cultural diversification of ideas, recreation, and social appreciation. The beauty of leisure is that it is cross-cultural. We may enjoy leisure differently, but it is imperative that we recognize the beauty of the differences we have in this town and join together to enjoy leisure activities and reap the benefits and rewards of those actions. This can be done in a variety of ways. We know that pop culture brings together people in a variety of ways. You, as council members, could set up movie nights, different social events, and other ways to bring us together and diversify this town and the things that we enjoy. And at the center of it all is leisure. Once leisure has been re-implemented into this town, another important factor of diversity involves the acceptance of alternate forms of recreation and leisure. And even when it does not match our own ideas, being open to appreciating the things that make others happy. We should be inviting forms of taboo recreation and willing to experience what others find joy in, and only making judgments about their leisure activities when it becomes a danger to this town. Believe this: removing leisure from our city will bring work production down. It will remove the opportunity for healthy diversity and destroy an opportunity for those growing up to find anything passionate about this town. If you progress through this plan of total leisure destruction, you will eventually find an uprising against a tyranny of some sorts, of not allowing people to enjoy the time that they have outside of education and work. Please consider my arguments. I believe that the future of this town and the well-being of the people are in your hands. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to hopefully what seems to be a compelling argument against taking leisure away from the people of this town.